Hey over there, Joe Lunchbox.
And Joy Nightingale.
And today we have landed right here in Millburn, New Jersey. Now we're going to actually just walk around the park, take a look. I haven't been here since I've been a kid. We're close to where one of my aunts lives. And there's a spot called the South Mountain Reservation. And what we learned is the South Mountain actually is a ferry trail. I do believe in ferries.
It's going to be so cool.
Yeah. So it seems that there's a woman named Teresa. I'm terrible at names. I don't want to butcher it. So I'm going to spell the last name. Ojibway. I don't want to mess it up. I apologize. But she's a special education teacher. And in 2011, she was coming here and building these little ferry houses along this trail. It started as anonymous, but then eventually she took credit to it. And yeah, we're going to go walk around. It's supposedly a mile loop. There's little sections if you don't want to do the whole mile. And it's part of the Railway Trail. So we're never been here, never done this before. Don't know if it's going to be cool or not, but you get to find out with us. So Step right up. Let's go for this ride. I'm pronouncing it Railway, but there it is, the Railway Trail. Look, before we even get there, we even have a little gas station. Welcome to the South Mountain Reservation Railway Ferry Trail. This half-mile trail, it's half-mile, I thought it was a mile, has been inhabited by fairies. As you walk along the white blazed path, look carefully and you will find where they have chosen to live. Fairies build their homes in trees, hollows, and roots, or from materials found in their habitat, such as branches, stones, and dried fungi. Fairy houses are delicate, so be very gentle and try not to disturb any fairies that may be inside. Please remember, practice being observant. Fairy houses are camouflaged, but you can see them from the path. So stay on the path because you don't want to get poison ivy, ticks, ground nesting wasps, leave no trace. And please do not add fairy homes along the trail. They will be removed. We start with a fairies patio. We don't have any fairies here, but it is set up. I mean, we're almost at spring, so it might be because it's not technically spring yet. Doesn't till tomorrow, but getting the patio furniture out.
Maybe a backyard setting?
Definitely a backyard setting. I like the little trellis to walk through to it. I didn't know people leave money for the fairies. I guess these are good luck fairies. And it isn't hard to follow this trail. It's the white trail, and it seems like this fence is going to surround us. Oh, fairy house looks like you can see everything it was made from the little windows with the sticks to that top looks like dried fungus. And lots of Gorilla Glue, looking the way it's foaming. How rude. They don't want me to come over. It only says fairies welcome. I'm not allowed in.
I like how the roof is mossy on this one.
It is definitely made like the netting, like the screening, that the moss could grow throughout it. And Joy came dressed appropriately, wearing her fairy t-shirt. I didn't have one, but Mythical Wizard I figured fit in with the fairy trail.
Totally.
We're just going for it. I wish I was a fairy to be able to fly over all the mud spots we're going to hit. But it's a good thing I backtracked, because I almost missed this little fairy house.
Oh, because it's right
It looks like a squirrel might have came and said hi in that one. This one definitely is Hobbit-esque. And if you thought like, I'm going to get there and I'm going to walk right by them and miss them, don't worry. There's plenty if you do miss one or two. There's one there. There's one here. There's one here. And there's one here. It is interesting how they all use organic building material, but in funny different ways. Like here you see the tree branches making it look like towers coming up. And here we have the white birch bark. Yeah, it does remind me of the roundhouses.
It says roundhouse.
Yeah. Someone left a little apple for this fairy.
I like how it's got like a little bed in there.
Oh, it does even have the bed. I didn't know we were going to get fairy furniture. I thought we just got fairy houses. Oh, we have a friend.
Hi.
As we're looking at this house. We got more furniture. We got bunk beds and a vanity. This is a cute one. And to think all this was done by one woman. Is that the fairy king's throne?
Ooh. And there's one further in there.
There is one in there. We're not going to get close because they did say stay on the trails. We're leaving no trace. Besides it being the ferry trail, this park, the South Mountain Reservation, is also a beautiful spot to come walk. You see how high it goes? We have birds of prey flying around in the distance.
Oh, look at the houses over there.
What? Oh, we have some houses on the riverbank. Got some nice houses. These guys got riverbank views and more puppies. Even the bridge has been fairy themed. You see some fairies with butterflies and dragonflies, and the fairy sitting on the crescent moon. The nice blue paint on the green.
There's a look at one.
We do have. It's like the lighthouse for this little creek. The structural integrity of that bench looks questionable. I might be a little afraid. But I'd come hang out here.
The little deck, I would guess you call it, right where the bench is. It kind of reminds me like how at Ripley sometimes, like you go and it just like kind of drops.
It does look like what you got. Like, I wonder what's over here. Oh no! Beware, poison ivy. It's a shame this house started falling apart because it actually used to be the old first aid clinic. You can treat your poison ivy. Now there's nowhere to go. That's why you got to stay on the trails. It's crazy. I love the spun wood making the top of this little gazebo for fairies, but it reminds me sort of the patterning in the bark. Look how this bark spins as it's going up. It's really cool shapes and spirals naturally in the wood.
To catch a fairy.
They caught a fairy. There's a fairy in there. We even got a little gnome. I don't know how he got up there.
No one will ever know.
It's Alice. She must have eaten one of those little cakes and got really small to fit in this house. I can see her through the chimney. Right there. Drink the potion that says, get large. And then her leg's gonna pop out the window and the doors and the roof's gonna come off. See, because it says Alice on the front door. You can see how the environment's been taking some. It looks like there used to be a lot more rocks glued to the roof on this one. But over time, they wore away. You have to remember, I did say they started building these in 2011. I don't know what year each one's from, but that is 11 years ago. Nature does reclaim things after a while.
Like a little gazebo outdoor area. But then again, everything's outdoor area.
Mm-hmm. Well, I never really knew how much these fairies gamble. Every table we see has money on it. I feel like, I know they're little fairies, but I feel like they could be munchkins. We're following follow the muddy brick road. Follow the muddy brick road.
The muddy brick road.
Yeah, because that's where we find more fairy houses. See, I followed and I found one. This one's one of my favorites so far. I really like how the log part looks like an old tunnel with the house built into it. And for you people that are leaving money for the fairies, don't do that. Stay on trail. Do not build lean-tos. Foot traffic is killing seedlings and preventing understory growth. Please do not leave glitter, jewels, or other things for the fairies. See, do not leave things for the fairies. Just come and look, but do not touch. You want to swing on down to this fairy's house? You see it has a swing, and that's why I made that joke. I know I didn't shell it good. Get it? Because this shells. Yeah, you really can't miss these. As we walk up the trail, almost every big tree or fallen tree has some sort of fairy house attached to it. I think this is fairy cheers. You see the bar stools? It's where every fairy knows your name.
If not, they can guess it.
Yeah.
Wow, this is like a big meeting area.
He's one of the larger structures that we saw. My favorite part about it, though, is I'm not going to touch it because I know they say don't touch. The little bucket. attached to the pull cord. I wonder if it actually, if you crank it, could you raise the little bucket? We're not going to find out. But the little marbles making that triangle window peak, those are the little details I love in these things. Did you find a store?
I did. We can get all our needs here.
All our needs at the general store. Another fairy house. I mean, of course, we're going to see a bunch of them at this point of the trail. But this one was out. She was supposed to be here to talk to you all. She was going to tell you to make sure you subscribe to Joe and Joy Have Landed and like this video and comment which of these fairy houses is your favorite. But she's out. But if she was here, she would tell you to do those things. So you should listen to it. You know why? You'll never like a fairy when they're angry. No. This isn't a fairy house. We found a fairy neighborhood here. We have the central square gazebo with all the houses around.
That's where the fungi hangs out.
I liked it. Get it because it was a mushroom. This is one of my favorites also. I love the stonework. I like how within this area, they're all different. One made of stone, another one of these little branches. The roof on this one's really cool. But this one right here, this 3-piece set, oh, that is cool. They do look like birdhouses, but I know they're not for birds. They're for fairies. I wonder if when the fairy's out, if there's ever squirrels that occupy them.
They rent them, Airbnb.
You rent your fairy house, Airbnb. Only a half hour from New York City. Only $500 a night.
It's a fairy B&B.
Fairy B&B?
Fairy B&B.
Do you think they give us fairy deals?
Oh, fairy good deals.
A 4-story fairy house with a nice moss roof. Helps you don't need air conditioning. It's natural insulation. I'm just making that up. I don't know. I never lived in a fairy house. I can't really say. This one reminds me of a classic Tudor style. I would try to move in, but they gave me a boot. See, it's almost a boot shape. It reminds me of the old lady that had too many kids. She didn't know what to do. Lived in the big shoe. See this big tree collapse at one point, but it then becomes a fairy house. Little swing in the window. So the dining room set inside. Oh, there's the bed. It says dream. You know what this one does? This isn't a fairy house. It's actually a tourist attraction. This gives out the swamp tours because it looks a little swampy. I wonder if I could get this house for a fairly moderate price. Oh, I like this ladder. Totally missed this one. I don't know how I walked right by it. Got the dining room and the bedroom. Good little shelter under here. You might get some gnats when it gets rainy and it's damp, but protects you from the elements.
That one's cute. That one's adorable.
Yeah, because it has a little door. I love the little figurines outside, the little mushroom trees and stuff like that. Got a tiny lighthouse. It must mean only one thing. We got the creek. Now you see these creeks, I have a quick funny story. When I was a little kid, I'd come visit my aunt here all the time growing up. And there's these creeks all throughout this area of New Jersey. And me and my cousin would go exploring and splash all around, and my sneakers would get all wet and smelled really bad. And every time before my mom and dad came to pick me up, my Aunt Maddie would have to buy me new sneakers because she'd have to throw away my sneakers for me playing in the creeks. It was fun though as a kid. Oh, we were exploring. We were pretending we were like Indiana Jones and stuff like that. Got some colorful pine cones hanging. Do fairies cocoon? Is that what that is? I really don't know. That fairy must have a duplex or triplex or a 20-something plex. We found a lake and a pond. The white trail's going that way. There's another trail going that way. They said it's a loop. I don't know. We're taking this trail. I know if I make a right and a right and a right, I'll get back to my car. So that's what we're doing. So I thought it was a loop. Don't think it's a loop anymore.
Or at least we made it our own loop.
There is another ferry house. It looks like one that's made. So we might be on the right turn. I wish there was a sign that said which way to turn. I don't think it's ferry. I think it's like a Blair Witch Project. We used to find the little like symbols on the ground out of sticks. Those aren't ferry houses. They're telling us there's witches after us. Be careful. If you see this footage and we haven't made it, it was the witches or the fairies.
Or both.
No one said the fairies were friendly. Especially because people are stomping on their trousers. I think they'd be angry too.
Yep.
So angry that they gave us more swamp. Joy, we found the parking lot. So when you get to where you see the dam, make a hard right up and then you get to the parking lot. Good to know. So we did see it all. If you see, here's the ferry trail. And what we did is we took the ferry trail and where I thought it ended, actually we stopped at the dam and cut back and walked back this way. We had a little bit more to go, but we saw a good amount of the ferry trail. We came back on this river trail back to this little parking lot. But if you go down a wrong trail, this spot is quite large. So I'm fairly certain, get it? Fairly?
Yeah, I got it.
That you saw a good amount of that ferry trail. I hope you enjoyed it. It was a nice little walk.
I liked
It's a Saturday morning out in the sun.
Oh
Technically still is winter, wearing short sleeve shirts and sweating, but it was good. It was good little exercise and with decorations as we were walking.
I enjoyed that.
It is a cool spot. If you have kids, they would love it because you can walk. You find these little things hidden. It's like just find it, hide and seek, hot and cold, any of those type of games. You know what I mean. You get what the point.
I spy with my eyes.
Yeah, exactly. And I think we could call it though, because I think we've done it.
I think so.
The ferry trail here at South Mountain Reservation. Been there, done that. Remember, folks, safe travels
Good eats.
and live life. This one looks like a cop-out. It looks like someone just put a birdhouse on the ground.